Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So as you can see, I'm out in the carving tent, but I'm not going to be chainsaw carving today. If you read the title, you know I'm going to be building a custom lamp. Now I actually built this lamp a while back. I just didn't get around to putting the video together. And so this is the video, building the custom Trout lamp. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you haven't already, and stick around. Well guys, I decided I'd put together this lamp video for you. As you can see, I got some walnut here on the lathe. What I did was I glued up some dried 2x6s, I want to say they were. And they were about 8 or 9 inches long, so I glued them up to make a block of walnut before I could get it to this point where you see here. Spent some time roughing it out, getting it fairly round. Had several mishaps. The gouge caught and threw this thing across the lathe because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. This is probably only the 4th piece I think I've ever turned on a lathe, so definitely a challenge, but I feel it's good to challenge myself, as it should be good for you to challenge yourself and your artistic abilities. Just continue to push your abilities, push who you are and what it is you want to do. I have a goal in mind to be able to create all sorts of things, to be able to have a customer say, hey, can you make this? And you be able to say, 99% sure, yes, I can do it. Let's sit down, let's figure it out, and let's just have a go. So I think it's really, really good to be well-rounded in the craft. As you guys can see here, you can see the lines where the black walnut's glued up. Turning this black walnut was fun. It really was. Like I said, it was a real challenge. I did just glue those up with tight bond too, if anybody was wondering. After applying the glue between the layers, I just clamped it up. I let that piece sit for about 3 days just to make sure everything was good and dry. Last thing I wanted is this thing coming apart on the lathe. Something that, it's kind of a scary idea that pieces would be flying all over the place, So yeah, glued it up, tight bond too. That stuff is awesome and works great. As you guys can see here, I'm kind of working on that shape and got it nice and smoothed out, but it was a little too big for what I really wanted it to be. In the scheme of things right here, it doesn't look that big, but compared to the lamp that I had in mind, the bulb I wanted to use, I really wanted this to be a little bit smaller. So I decided to start turning it again and went for this bell shape that you see here. Now, attempting that was fun until I hit the edge and broke it. So I cut it off, and this is the final shape I ended up going with. As you guys can see, I'm holding my hand up there to give you a reference. It's not really big, it's fairly small. So I mean, I took away a lot of wood. Also turned the inside out, as you can see, and that's where my gouge caught. Sent this thing flying across the shop twice on me. As I said before, I am really new at turning, and so that was a little scary. The inside's a little bit rough, but I got it as cleaned up and as smooth as I could get it. Hopefully I'll get some practice making a few more of these in the future, and they'll just get better and better. But this is my first one, like this, and so I'm pretty happy with it. If you're still unsure exactly what it is I'm trying to make, it's that. That's what I'm trying to make, minus that bell shape. So, like I said, kind of like a lamp shade, but it doesn't, I don't know, you can't really see through it like the lamp shade most of us are thinking of. Right here, it's pretty much ready for sanding though. I'm done putting the chisel to that. And so I think I went through originally from like 150, 180, 220, 400, and eventually here you'll see me grab some steel wool and kind of really polish it up a bit with that. I mean, hitting it with the steel wool kind of put a shiny look to it, which was pretty cool. Right here, yeah, if you watch that corner up at the top, it sort of gets shiny in the light as it's spinning. Really nice, really smooth on the outside though. I love it. I think it came out great for the first one I've ever done. And hopefully, like I said, I'll do some more in the future and they'll only just get better. Now moving on from turning it, I had to turn another piece, the back right there, where that switch is. Now that is to cover up the butt end and to hold the socket for the light bulb. So that was the second piece I had to turn for this lamp shade. As you guys can see the bulb in there, that's a round bulb, but I do switch it out and it eventually has one of those elongated oval bulbs. And what I used was just the amber LED light. So there's no heat in there. I don't have to worry about the wood getting too hot, cracking or anything, because those LEDs have a nice cool touch. They don't really get hot, so it's always a plus. As you guys can see, it comes right apart. Now, for final assembly, I did, and I will drill 2 holes in the back of that right there and put 2 screws in to attach that to the front piece, so nothing really comes apart. Everything will stay nice and solid. I'll also drill a good sized hole underneath the twist knob there so the wires can come out the back and work their way down the lamp, so there's just, you know, nothing in the way. Now this is the lamp base. I know there's a lot going on in this picture, but you guys can see the base coming together there. The very bottom is black walnut and cherry sandwiched together, and here is the shade with the custom piece that I carved out of walnut to fit. We're moving right along quick here, getting right into carving some fish. As this is a trout themed lamp, I gotta carve the trout. Now these trout are carved out of cherry burl. The trout, the fins, all that stuff's carved separate. Well, the body and the small fins. The tail fin is one piece, but the smaller fins I carved as separate pieces to attach later. They were very time consuming, to say the least. You guys are just getting a quick glimpse of one of them here, but I mean, to carve these trout took hours. It took me hours, it really did. Got many hours into the whole piece, but the trout took a long time to get them where I wanted them. So we're coming up on it here. You guys get to see more of the shape of the trout and how I fit those fins in there. Like I said, that did the top fins aside, all that. I know they're called something specific, but they're all fins to me, so whatever. Drilling out the holes and basically carving a peg. Use a little bit of 2-part epoxy to put it in there, adding some of the sawdust from the carving to fill it in, so it kind of has a very smooth, natural transition, and you don't see the lines or the epoxy where it's glued in. The whole goal is to make everything look, you know, seamless for the most part, doing these fish, and very natural. And that's, I think I ended up achieving that. If you guys keep watching, you'll be able to see how they turned out. So if you've made it this far, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. I really appreciate that kind of support from you guys. If you want to help support this channel, you can check out the Patreon account. I got a link below to that. And if you want to be able to purchase some of my work, you can also check out my Etsy shop. I got a link to my Etsy shop down below, and so you guys can go there. A lot of times it's like the year-end stuff. Whatever I didn't sell at a craft fair or something small that I can ship, I will put up on the Etsy store. I'm working on figuring out how to ship larger items, so eventually we can do some bigger carvings and maybe some furniture pieces, but I'm not quite there yet. So you guys can check that out. Obviously, those purchases through Etsy are direct, no middleman, and you guys will help support this channel and help support my work. So here you guys get a quick glimpse of the overall look of these fish. Now there is still quite a bit of detail to be added, and it will be added. I'll be using my Fordham flex shaft and mostly using my saber-tooth burr bits. Now, I use saber-tooth quite a bit. They just have a large, versatile, I don't know, pile of stuff you can choose from. But honestly, for me, it's just whoever has what I need is what I'll end up using. Here you guys can see I'm adding some oil. I'm actually adding Watco Danish oil to these. With the Danish oil, it really brings out the beautiful grain in that cherry burl, and over time the Danish oil will kind of let the wood breathe, and cherry, I don't know, it enriches itself over time. It just becomes a much more, what am I looking for, a more rich color as the oxygen gets to it, and it just darkens up, and it really becomes a beautiful color. So You can see we got some of the details carved in there. Well, all the details as this fish is done. And yeah, I mean, that's it. Fish are complete. After these few shots, we'll be getting into that finished lamp. Be sure to stick around. And here it is, the lamp all assembled. I know I skipped over like the upright piece and those knobs, but I'll talk about them here so you guys can get an idea. So the uprights holding it are cherry, black walnut cherry, sandwiched together. I left overhangs and drilled them out so I could put some bolts in there. The knobs are cherry burl. I carved them out. Each knob has a fly fishing fly in them, epoxied in them, and then they're sanded and shaped so they have this bubble look. You guys can see what I did there with the wires and the screws, putting that back on. Everything is all wood, but looks very mechanical. I attached the fish to the walnut base using just some brass rod. In my opinion, brass and walnut look awesome together, and so that's why I used it. I also love putting cherry and walnut together. I think they just complement each other better than so many other woods. So they're also easily to get a hold of, easily to come by here where I am in upstate New York, and so those are things that I use often. Here's some final shots you guys can see of the lamp. Took them out by a lake. I thought it would be fitting to take some really nice shots of it out there. Again, I really hope you guys are enjoying this video. I know it's a little different than usual, a lot of talking, but be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. This is an overall look of the desk. Now, the lamp was built specifically for this desk, but I could always build another lamp if somebody was interested. The desk and the chair and all that, they're, as you can see, black walnut. If it's not black walnut, it's probably a fruit wood, like the base and the upright of the chair are apple wood, and the base to the desk is actually from a pear tree. So we've got a lot of burl going on here. We've got some bigger trout on the base of the pear there. Carved that pear out so it would have a real natural flowing look like it does. The drawer faces are black walnut with a black walnut burl veneer. All the drawer pulls are cherry burl, carved out to have fly fishing flies in each one with an epoxy, with that bubbled look, you know, kind of like a drop of water. All the drawers are wood. I mean, the main goal here is to hide 99% of the hardware. So when you look at this piece, there's really not a lot of hardware to see. I mean, you'll see the brass screws on the sides. There's a little brass line way in the back underneath the top, up at that walnut above the fish, just for a little character that most won't see in person. And yeah, that top is a two-part epoxy. So when you're sitting at this, you can feel like you are right at the water's edge. I mean, it's just a really cool piece. I mean, it was challenging to make, but it was a lot of fun. I've got a full video creating that desk if you guys want to check it out. I'll have a link popping up in the top so you guys can go there and see it if you want. That's it. I mean, you see the desk, you see the character in it, all this craziness going on, and I mean, I had to build a lamp to go along with the desk. Let's make our way over to the lamp. I think I already gave you guys all the details on it. It's just, here it is outside in the light. You can really see all the colors and just how the whole thing really came together without all that other garbage in the shop, you know, catching your eye. So again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and this project and this build. It just, this whole overall piece, again, was just really pushing my limits. I met a lot of challenges and really pushed my abilities, but you know, I wouldn't have it any other way. If you're an artist or someone that creates, push yourself, step outside the box and attempt that thing you've been wanting to attempt and just go for it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video creating that lamp and checking out the desk there at the end. Been real busy working on projects, so I'm hoping to be getting out a carving video here pretty soon, chainsaw carving. I recently pulled some muscles in my arm, so I haven't been picking up the saws, just trying to get healed up and stuff. But coming around, things are feeling pretty good, so hopefully be picking up the saws here in the next day or two and getting a video out for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video though. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.